Bon dia, Lisboa. Hello, everyone. I hope you're having an amazing first day of Web Summit 2023. It's great to see you all back in such great numbers here. Thank you all for coming. Fintech 2024, what's next? That is the topic of our panel right now. Let's not waste any time, but ask you in an opening question within 60 short Swiss seconds. What is the next big trend for fintech in 2024? Let's start with ladies first.
Hi, everyone. So my prediction for 2024 is a massive adoption of AI and machine learning. And therefore, we will also see not just new technologies, but we will see a war for talent that has not existed before. Especially for AI engineers, analysts, and so on and so forth. So we see shift in jobs, we see shift in functionalities, and we see these new talents popping up also on the market that deliver us those new innovative services.
A war for talent, that is your headline. Let's hope it's going to be a peaceful one, but competitive one at the same time. Rodolphe, what is your prediction?
I think we are, I'm extremely bullish on the fintech space. It's still the early days for fintech. If we look at financial services public market cap, which is 11, 12 trillion today, fintech are just 2% of that. So the future of fintech is ahead. I think there will be a continuity, though. The last couple of years have been challenging for the ecosystem and the industry. I think we learned a lot in the past decade in terms of which business model are working, the ones that are not working so well. And I believe in 2024 it will be a continuity on that, making sure that sustainability, growth in terms of business model will be there, and the key players will come being the one that prove that they can generate cash flows for the market.
Your time management is amazing, everybody. Within 60 seconds so far, Rodolphe says the heydays of fintech are still ahead. Your glass is not just half full, but totally full. Samir, what is next for fintech 2024?
Yeah, I think I agree a lot with the previous speakers. We have, reached a point where a lot of the foundational technologies are in place, and I think next year we will see both consolidation between fintechs, but we'll also see for the first time real competition towards legacy providers. And if you then add new technologies on top of that in the mix, I think it's going to be a very interesting year.
Meeri, your company INZMO is based in Berlin, Germany, and you basically provide insurance solutions for homeowners, but also their belongings. How is AI and other emerging technologies reshaping your business going forward?
Yeah, so in that sense, in fintech and also in insurtech, there is still a lot of ugly around that needs to be fixed. And especially in insurance, a lot of insurance companies have already nailed how to sell you an insurance policy quite quickly. But when does the customer need the service? When they're in trouble, when they're having a claim. And this is where the ugly comes out. For example, insurance is that it's quite cumbersome. It's difficult to get reimbursed by your insurance company, a lot of documentation, a lot of asking around, a lot of suspicion. So AI and machine learning will be adopted a lot in fraud prevention, in claims handling, and eventually the customer winning because claims handling times will be super short. They will be much more predictive, and you can already see use cases where you see that there is a hurricane coming, and people already get funds to start repairing their household or businesses. So there is a lot to disrupt here with those new emerging technologies, and I'm super excited about the times ahead, especially in insurance.
Yeah, and I just think about the insurance business is like going to the doctor, because we need it when it's almost too late already, right?
Yes.
So we need some more prevention in that space for sure.
Exactly.
Rodolphe, Spendesk provides payment methods for businesses, and it's basically a platform for finance teams to manage their spending. So tell us a little bit about how the changing consumer behaviors are impacting your business and what kind of new fintech methods and models you are developing at this stage.
I think that's a good question, because to me, the change in consumer behaviors are actually the opportunity for fintechs, right? If we think about just what I said before, most of the market today is dominated with companies that are there for multiple decades in the financial services. Fintech just exists because there is this change of consumer behaviors which create new opportunities in the market for new business models. And so that's what Fintech does. And if we look for us on the spend management category, there is this emergence of what I call this consumerization in our ways of working. All the millennials and Gen Z are already starting to take decision-making, position in companies, and that changed their ways of working, right? And so for us, there is this need coming on a better experience on how people work together, how we better empower people, how we free them from constraints, just preventing them to be efficient in what they do, and particularly when it's about spending the company money, right? So that's where I see the opportunities for Fintech, which is driven by the change of consumer behaviors and where they can adapt quicker to this change and to tap the opportunities in the market.
Mm-hmm. There are not only opportunities, but also constraints that you mentioned. Let's talk about the regulatory framework as well with you, Samir. So, of course, the digital transformation of fintech companies has brought a lot of windfalls, a lot of positive outcomes as well, but regulation is getting tougher. How do you experience that in your space? What kind of regulatory hurdles are fintech companies like you facing now, and how are you challenging them or overcoming them?
Yeah, I think we are licensed in Sweden, and from my part, we are very pro-regulation. I think it's very important for our customers. Obviously, we work with businesses, e-commerce, digital companies, mid-market primarily, and for them, trust is everything. They want to trust us with their money, with their financial operations, and it's hard to trust someone that they do not know has someone who audits them, who controls them, that doesn't follow a certain set of rules. So I think it's very important to have good regulation, and I believe that in Europe today we have a positive outlook when it comes to regulation, and that we have good regulators. However, obviously, I think the other side of that is regulatory capture, which you can see that in a regulated industry, you have these, or a higher moat to come in and start a new business and innovate. And I think it's all about finding that balance. In our case, I think we have come to a pretty good solution. But from a business owner or a consumer perspective, I think it's obvious that if you allow only freedom, that would create a lot of failures, and some failures are acceptable, and obviously, as we've seen in the industry and in the world generally, there's also failures that hurt a lot and therefore cannot be acceptable from the regulator perspective.
Does the panel here think that there is an overregulation in the market, or are there still certain areas in fintech where we need more regulation, policy intervention, ECB, but also local authorities?
But I think, just to jump in here, I think the problem is not necessarily regulation, it's what we call execution of the regulation. In my world, it will be much more important to improve the time to get a license or time to get answers on your questions. Because, as a new company, as a startup or scale-up, everything is about speed. And our customers expect us to work very quickly and deliver value. And obviously, in the best case scenario, we could match that speed with the regulators. And I think there you have a lot of improvement.
Fintech is super fast, and then regulators are a bit slower, right?
A bit slower, yes.
Meeri, what is your take?
Yeah, I would say that I would touch the point of being exposed to new risks because of the new technologies. And I don't think currently we're over-regulated, because especially when the corona started, we went to work from home, and with the Ukrainian war, we got to expose to new, completely different types of fraud, new types of risks, and they have to be regulated, and new technologies have to be implemented to fight these risks. And we don't know yet how, so I do not think that anything is over-regulated right now, because at the end of the day, we want to protect our consumer, we want to protect the data, and we have to be kind of accommodating ourselves to face now with this new risk.
We will get back to the cybersecurity threats in a moment. Would you like to add anything on the regulatory framework, Rodolphe?
I think there is always this balance between regulation and innovation, right? Yeah. On one hand, regulators should not put extra constraints, just that prevents new business model to emerge, or a specific mode. When you need to start your business, you have to work just for 2 years before getting into the market, before making sure that you comply with everything that the regulator wants. But on the other hand, I think that for fintech, there is, again, an opportunity for better organize ourselves to mutualize the work made on by regulator. If we think about, I think a good example is KYC. We're all doing the same job with our own customers around KYC, and sometimes we've got mutual customers together. How we can better build platform, technology, marketplace where by design we are compliant with what regulations want and create an opportunity, again, to move faster than the incumbents.
At the end of the day, it's also really important that startups like ourselves and regulators are in constant communication so that the regulators understand us better and vice versa. And there's a lot of education that needs to be happen on both sides.
Absolutely. In terms of KOC and cybersecurity measures that you're implementing at INZMO, Meeri, what kind of measures, what kind of tools, methods are you using to really prevent cyber attacks and fraud and money laundering that we can take away here as well?
Yeah, so we are also in the process of implementing new AI tools to detect fraud, and especially because we are insuring small assets, so we want to make sure that, the assets we are protecting are really there, that, the customers are not being fraudulent. But again, we don't want to overwhelm the customer because, just because 1% of the customers are maybe, fraudulent, we cannot punish 99% of the rest of the consumers. So it's always a huge balancing exercise that you somehow have to do it in a fun way so that the customers do not run away. So there's a lot of new technologies out there that help us to verify the items, verify the customer, verify their ID, and also at the end of the day, ask the customers to verify that whether the claim actually happened or not. So the technologies are already available, and it's all about the implementation and also educating the regulator that, hey, this is safe, this is okay, this is the new standard.
Samir, I would like to get a little bit of a bigger picture here. Just before our panel, I interviewed the Chief Digital Officer of UNDP, the United Nations Development Programme, and he mentioned how in the world there are still 2.6 billion people without access to the internet. That's the same number that the Geneva-based ITU, the International Telecommunication Union, has. Digital inclusion is a big topic also in fintech, and I think we also have a responsibility there. What should we do, Samir, in terms of really closing this digital gap, not just in Sweden, but in other countries around the world?
Yeah, I think, generally, it's not necessarily so much about fintech, that gap you point out, but making sure that our infrastructure for both building a business, having internet is available. And we see some of those initiatives coming out. From our perspective, in our vision, we dream to be able to launch in every nation, all globally, and we believe that that would be something very positive, not only for ourselves, but for people being able to actually run their own e-commerce, which is obviously what we focus on, e-commerce businesses. I think there is, a huge gap today between the Western world especially and certain parts of Asia and the rest when it comes to connectivity and ability to build a full online business. And we can see that. We also have a lot of people that have come to countries only in order to be able to actually start their business because it's been impossible where they've come from, which is obviously a very sad state of affairs.
Mira, in the intro, mentioned the war for talent. So we need to develop new skills, new jobs, and really educate people around fintech as well. Rodolphe, what are some of the key talents and skills that we should develop in order to get ready for Fintech 2024? Web Summit obviously is a huge platform for headhunting and looking for jobs and hiring people as well. Which are some of the tips that you can share here?
That's a good question. I think there is jobs that are inherent to any fintech. You know, we touched a little about regulation, around compliance, and engineering, obviously. But it's more on how we think about the evolutions of these different skill sets, based, as you say, you know, the evolution in terms of tools, practice, as you know, like AI, and making sure that it is encompassed in this new skill set for people to be able to adapt to the new reality of what is the fintech world today. But again, I think, you know, if you're an engineer, you know, you get a job in any fintech at the moment.
Anyone would like to add?
Yeah, I think with the new evolutions, we do see that AI and machine learning will take away a lot of mundane tasks from our people, especially when they are like in the support functionalities, our administrative functionalities. But we have to train our people and to give them more skills, because we would need new skills. We need AI trainers, we need engineers, we need data analysts, and all new kind of skill set. But we also need to have people on board who will make sure that whatever we are developing and whatever is new, that we're also playing by the rules. Right, so we need lawyers and people who keep us like compliance managers who keep us compliant, so that we're not breaking any laws, we're not hurting any customers when building up anything innovative.
Especially in this fast-paced environment, because it's really about staying ahead of the curve.
Exactly.
But with all these rapid developments, it's really like being in a hamster wheel. You always try to catch up, right? Samir, your company Juni is a banking platform for e-commerce and marketing. Last year, congratulations, you raised $100 million US in a Series B round. Are you fundraising again? Are you planning to expand internationally? What is your vision forward?
Yeah, so we're not fundraising. We don't plan to fundraise for a while. I think coming back to the talent piece, what we see out there today, especially in fintech, is a very strong focus on being an optimized organization, maximizing output per FTE, and I think that is a trend we will go more towards. I don't see a scenario where we will go back, either for us or in the industry as a whole, with massive new additions, and I think it's hard to compete as a fintech with too much cost as a base. For us, you know, that being said, we are now looking at many new markets, and you know, when you go into new markets, you obviously need to add headcount, but it will not be extensively. And I think that is a good, positive sign. I've seen a big change from a fintech industry which was overthrown with a lot of capital, over-hiring, competing on price, on vanity, and now product market fit comes into the spotlight. And I think that is something very wonderful, and it makes you actually care more about what you build and be able to get the right customers that love your product. And you know from day one that you can have a win-win relationship with them. So I think this is a good trend that we'll see. And it also comes down to what we talked initially about consolidation. More businesses will come together.
Yeah. Do you see a trend towards more consolidation, mergers and acquisitions in 2024? Or is it more about building partnerships and expanding your ecosystem right now?
I think it's both. There is also obviously a big portion of it which is all about that a lot of companies will probably fail and not be able to continue. And I think if you do not have a long-term view on what you're doing and plan accordingly, it will be very hard. I do not see the market change drastically in a positive way in the next 12 to 24 months.
Would you agree with that, Rodolphe? Are you actively looking for acquisitions? Any secrets you could share with us?
Yeah, I think it's difficult to answer the question, because on one hand, I guess there will be some consolidation in this market, but many companies still have raised a lot of capital not so far ago, so valuation are still an issue, a problem, etc. So on my hand, I think, you know, when the business model is not there, it's not It's not a question of consolidation. It's not going to work in the long term. When the business model is there, so the way we think through it at Spendesk is basically what help us accelerate our product roadmap, what help us accelerate the value we can provide to our end customers, and if there are opportunities in terms of products where there is an easy cross-sell or an easy joint value, we're immediately thinking either partnership or acquisition. But that's the moment where I think that's the right.
You mentioned a customer, and of course the client is still king and queen, right? So we need to satisfy the customer. On your website, Meeri, you have the statement that you're on a mission to be the world's most customer-centric insurance company. That's a big mission, girl, with a simple mission to remove all ugly in insurance. So first of all, what is there so ugly in the insurance business, and how are you going to tackle this massive task?
So if you think about in insurance in general as a service or as a product, it's nothing sexy. Nobody wakes up 3 a.m. in the morning like with the next Apple product, like, oh, what can I buy? Where can I, mitigate my risk?
It's not like e-commerce.
It's like the necessary evil a little bit, right? So, and why is it that? Is that when we think about insurance, what we associate with that is like they take our money and we don't know whether we get it back, and usually it's so cumbersome to get something back and so many documents, and they are exhausting us, and eventually they don't pay back anything. And we're here to change this narrative that, insurance is your friend. It's a smart way to financial freedom. Financial freedom is not being created only by your savings or how much money you make. It's also how you mitigate your risks. Because if you have saved up 10,000 euros and you're crashing your car and you don't have any insurance, it's all gone. So mitigating risk is extremely important. And this is like also our value proposition, that it's a smart way to have financial flexibility, having insurance. And this, like the experiences that we're building have to be like one of the easiest ones. We are not exhausting our customers, and it's a breeze. Only this way, maybe somebody wakes up 3 a.m. in the morning besides me thinking about insurance.
Meeri is on a mission to make insurance sexy. I think that deserves a round of applause. Well done. All right. Now, in the remaining 5 minutes that we have, I would really like to shine a spotlight on the next generation, on all the young people out here who want to embark on a fintech venture, and share some tips and advice for them. You're all seasoned entrepreneurs here on stage. Rodolphe, if I may start with you, what is your key advice for the next generation of entrepreneurs, startup founders who really want to get into the fintech space?
I think my number one advice is making sure that you're there for the long term in this new journey, because it's going to take time. Again, if you want to build a very ambitious fintech that can be a generational company, if we look at the leaders in the financial services industry, it's companies that are multiple decades today. So that's the type of journey you engage in. And I think that's an important commitment with yourself to be very clear with what are going to be your goals personally into starting this new journey.
Meeri?
Mm-hmm. So if you're a fintech founder right now or a starting founder, then, this is one of the toughest times. And I don't want to be the bad person here, but the next 6 or 12 months will be even worse, especially in terms of fundraising. It's getting more and more challenging. It's already challenging today. But the good thing is that, the money from the VCs or angels is not the only measure around anymore. We have these new solutions or alternative financing methods popping up, like venture debt, growth loans, and so on and so forth. So there will be a massive competitors also for the VCs, which means that there will be new ways of getting funded right now. But the game has changed massively. If previously, like a year ago, you could have easily fundraised with a PowerPoint presentation and a compelling vision and nice ideas, then there is much more focus on traction right now. You just have to adapt and learn to play the game how it is right now. And if you kind of nail it and build your resilience in those times, and you can build on that and build successful products, you will do amazing in the future.
Learning from the best, never give up, and also team up with others, like
Absolutely.
partnering, right? Because you
Partnerships,
can't do it by yourself.
super important, like if you can partner with big banks, big corporates, insurance companies, and so on and so forth, you can leverage from there.
And people like you on stage. Samir, your advice?
Yeah, but I think, it's... I've started now 4 companies, and it's always been harder than I thought every new time. And I think that is very true, that it costs a lot to be a founder, it costs a lot to be a leader, but it's still a lot of opportunity. It's, as we've said, it's still in the early days. Fintech is very immature, but you need to have the passion, you need to have the right people with you, you can't take shortcuts. Most of the founders I see early on fail is because they do a lot of what I would call easy mistakes in the beginning, and they need to follow the rule book there, because there is a rule book for how to create a company according to best practice. And if you're going to deviate from best practice, you need to have a very good reason to do that. And I think that's the way to think about it, move as quickly as possible. And as we've said here, you need to realize the environment you're in, you need to realize it's for the long term. You need to partner with people you want to take a glass of wine with, otherwise it's not going to work out.
There is plenty of wine around us here in beautiful Lisbon, some Tinto later today. And what you said is so accurate. Patience is not really our virtue in this social media world that we live in, but really take your time to let this baby grow. In the final minute, it's day 1 of the Web Summit. What is your number 1 thing that you're looking forward to over the next couple of days? Rodolphe, I know you're heading out tonight already back to Paris, but in the final hours that remain, what are you planning to get out of the Web Summit?
It's still a learning experience for me. So learning from others, learning from my peers, learning from newest generations of entrepreneurs. So that's why I'm looking here and being here at the event.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see the kind of offspring. I'm really excited to learn the new ideas and technologies they're implementing. So super excited to see a lot of companies here.
Yeah, I love to see there's so many people building or want to build. And it gives a lot of energy, so it's very positive. And then, of course, I'm also looking forward to see all these government slogans. It's every year a new great slogan from a new government here.
Samir, Meeri, Rodolphe, thank you so much. They are also available on LinkedIn, I think, on social media. So if anyone needs to reach out to them, they will be around here too. So please connect. This is the goal of the Web Summit. Obrigada, Lisboa. I hope to see you all in Doha, Qatar in February. Thank you very much.